So picture this. Meghan Markle posts this perfectly polished birthday tribute to herself. Yeah, to herself. Glam photo, artsy caption, comments turned off like always. It reads, "A toast to Meghan Markle," as if the whole internet's gonna rise up and clap, except nope, not this time, because while Meghan's busy celebrating Meghan, her ex-husband Trevor Engelson is out here dropping what I can only call the calmest nuclear bomb ever. No press tour, no tell-all book, just a quiet little video uploaded to some niche industry platform no one checks until they do. And when I tell you it spread like wildfire, hours, that's all it took. And not because he's screaming or looking for pity. Nope, he's just sitting there speaking like a man who has nothing left to lose, that eerie calm like he's finally woken up from a very long dream. And then he says things that, oh my god, make you pause mid-scroll. He basically shatters the whole fairy tale Meghan's been selling for years. According to Trevor, the Meghan everyone knows, the graceful humanitarian, the scrappy underdog who became a duchess, isn't a real person. She's a role, a script, a meticulously built character designed to fool not just Hollywood, not just the media, but actual royalty. Trevor says being married to her was like living in a never-ending audition. Every smile, every laugh, every single word, rehearsed. Charm, practiced, empathy, performed, ambition, oh, that part was 100% real. Ruthlessly real. Even back when they were just living in LA, she wasn't daydreaming about her big break, she was engineering it. She'd study how to walk a red carpet, tweak her laugh, change her speech patterns, pick her clothes, all not to feel confident, but to make herself more castable. And then, bam, she lands Suits, and Trevor swears it was like a switch flipped. Friends, replaced, mentors, gone, even family. She swapped everyone out for people who could boost her image. Suddenly, Trevor wasn't her husband anymore. He was background scenery in the story she wanted to tell the world. And oh, this one story he told, brutal. Fresh into Suits, she sits him down and says flat out, move to Toronto full-time and ditch your career or this marriage is over. Not a suggestion, not a tear in sight, just cold, calculated, and already prepared to walk away. Trevor says she moved on like she was ticking boxes off a checklist. Step 1, get the break. Step 2, drop the dead weight. Step 3, start fresh with a clean image. She didn't just drift away, she erased the marriage, unfollowed people, moved money, cleared photos, all before she even filed for divorce. And here's the thing, it wasn't even the facts that hit the hardest, it was the way he said them. No bitterness, no theatrics, just a calm, almost scary clarity, like someone finally reclaiming their own story after being written out of someone else's. Meanwhile, Meghan's self-congratulatory birthday post is just sitting there trying to radiate empowerment. But the internet, oh, they're watching the cracks spread, because if Trevor's telling even half the truth, then maybe every speech, every emotional interview, every carefully timed tear was all just part of the performance. And the kicker? Trevor didn't just talk about a toxic relationship. He exposed what sounds like a blueprint, a step-by-step career climb disguised as personal growth. He says Meghan rehearsed everything, not just lines for auditions, but even her casual chats with fans, her reactions in interviews, her poses in photos. It was like she was building Meghan Markle, the character from the ground up, ready to climb from cable TV straight into Buckingham Palace. The relatable underdog who marries a prince for love, not legacy, except maybe legacy was the whole point. So, Trevor says there was this one moment that really showed him it was all calculated. He walks in one day and Meghan's in front of the mirror, not just trying on dresses or fixing her hair, but literally practicing her red carpet wave, not laughing about it, not doing it for fun. No, she's studying herself like a football coach watching game tape, adjusting the angle of her wrist, tweaking her smile. She'd pull up interviews of A-list actresses and analyze them like homework, how they handled tough questions, how they smiled when someone shaded them, how they responded to awkward jokes. She wasn't trying to be herself, she was crafting a persona. And according to Trevor, the second Suits hit, the transformation went into overdrive. Suddenly there was a new wardrobe, new friends, new attitude. She started picking who she hung out with based on one thing, value. Not emotional value, public value. Could they get her in the right rooms? Could they help shape her image? If not, poof, they were gone. No drama, no explanation, just silence. Trevor says he saw the same thing in their marriage. First, she stopped calling him her husband in public, then in private. Then she cut contact with his family completely. He even remembers one time when someone asked her if she was married and she just laughed. Not mean, not mocking, just like the question itself was irrelevant. Like that chapter of her life had already been deleted. And it wasn't just emotional distance, she planned her exit like a movie production. Months before the breakup, she'd already removed sentimental items from the house, unfollowed mutual friends, made sure there were no messy ties left, so when she officially ended it, there was nothing left to untangle. Cold, precise, Final. And yes, there's that ultimatum again, Toronto or nothing. Leave your career behind, follow me to Canada, or we're done. She had already moved for Suits, and she expected him to drop everything to orbit her spotlight. He didn't. That was the end. What's wild is Trevor doesn't sound angry about any of this. He just sounds resigned, like he's realized he was never part of her long-term plan. Once his role in her story was over, he was quietly written out. Meanwhile, Meghan's picture-perfect birthday tribute is still up on Instagram. Comments off, likes hidden, just a glossy little shrine to herself. But while she's trying to keep control of the narrative, the internet is having a field day. People are digging. Old classmates, ex-coworkers, vintage interviews, and the image they're piecing together looks way less like a fairy tale and way more like a political campaign. Even a former casting agent comes forward, anonymously, of course, basically backing up Trevor, says Meghan was always calculated. Didn't just show up to auditions, she came armed with intel on the producers, details about the competition, and a game plan to outshine everyone in the room. This wasn't desperation, this was execution. She knew exactly what people wanted to see, and she delivered it before they even asked. Trevor's video? Oh, it set off a chain reaction. Blogs that used to post fluff pieces about her favorite smoothie recipe started pulling old interviews and doing side-by-side comparisons. Suddenly, you're seeing tiny inconsistencies, a changed timeline here, a reverse story there, and together they start to look like one big rewrite. And then naturally, people start asking the big question, what about Harry? Because if Meghan really rehearsed her way through Hollywood, what does that mean about her royal leap? Trevor claims Meghan made jokes about the royal family long before she ever met Prince Harry. Sarcastic stuff about castles, old men in uniforms, and calling the monarchy a racist museum with tiaras. Funny thing, none of that made it to Oprah. Instead, she painted herself as this wide-eyed outsider, shocked and horrified by the institution's coldness. But Trevor's version? He says Meghan always saw the royal world as something to use, not discover, manipulate, maybe even tear down if it suited her. And marrying Harry? According to him, that wasn't just love. It was strategy. She didn't just find a prince. She found the perfect co-star for her next act. A wounded, rebellious royal already half removed from the crown, someone ready to walk away. When they left the UK, dropped their titles, sued the press, and landed those massive Netflix and Spotify deals, people saw it as rebellion. But after Trevor's story, others started wondering if it was just the same old formula. Charm, ascend, disconnect, reinvent. And the kicker, it wasn't just online chatter. PR insiders and media strategists began weighing in, saying Meghan's team was in full-blown panic after Trevor's video dropped. Not because of what he said, but how he said it. Calm, clinical, no revenge, just truth, and that's exactly why people believed him. Meghan's response? Classic crisis control. Copyright takedown notices, legal threats to platforms, soft-focused charity appearances, and a new brand campaign launched the same week because, of course, but it didn't work. For the first time in years, people weren't just eating up the story, they were questioning the storyteller, and then came the real mic drop. In the last seconds of Trevor's video, he shares this line Meghan once told him, "If you want to reinvent yourself, you have to delete your old chapters." At the time, he thought she meant fresh starts. Now he sees it differently. She wasn't just reinventing, she was erasing anyone who remembered the unpolished version of her. And Trevor? He wasn't just an ex, he was a chapter crossed out entirely. That's why people listened. Because behind all the glitz, the titles, the charity speeches, the Meghan Markle story was starting to sound a whole lot less like transformation and a whole lot more like deletion.